Right.
Yay! Hey, what is up, everybody? We are live. The Tuesday night tradition continues. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another R.O.C. Hangout. We come to you live each and every single week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Realm of Collectors YouTube channel. I'm Harrican BX. I'll be your host for this evening. Got almost a full panel of gentlemen here with me. Before I introduce them, though, just want to remind you guys that if you're watching us live, please give us a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. It does not cost you a thing. I guarantee it. And if you want to hit that little bell notification, you'll be notified every time new content is uploaded to the channel. So guys, a reminder, this podcast, the audio version of this podcast is now available to subscribe to through our website, www.realmofcollectors.com, as well as through iTunes and your favorite podcast app, Podcast Addict, Podbean. Also, if you're watching us live, pop into the live chat, chop it up with the rest of the R.O.C. fam. Lots of banter going on there while we're live streaming here on YouTube. Lots of good times in there. So if you're watching us, please pop in there, join the community, and have a good time in the chat. So with that out of the way, we're going to do some intros. I'm going to do right to left, switch it up this time. First up, what is happening, brother? How you doing today?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. You faded out for a minute. What did you say? You talking to me?
Yes, sir. How are you?
You know what?
Happy Tuesday.
Happy
earplugs.
I'm so fucking cool. I gotta wear shades. Sorry, so you have to say my name twice.
Some fine looking shades you got there too. How you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. How y'all doing, man?
Good, and, man. Good. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday to you too. And I wish I could talk about something I got, but I haven't gotten shit. So.
Oh, that's
something.
How's the week treating you so far? Everything good?
I'm fantastic, dude. You know, I'm recovering from Saturday night. It's all good. We're done.
Woo! The 6 hour.
All are recovering.
I'm looking forward to NJCC. Anna and I are going to drive up there one of the days. So
awesome. Very cool.
Hang out with everybody on probably Sunday is what it's looking like. So
okay, cool.
I'll drop Sunday morning and hang out with you guys for the day and drive home. So.
No doubt. We'll definitely be talking about that soon because that's just like a couple of weeks away, 2 to 3 weeks away at this point.
It's crazy. It's close.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we're getting there. So, within the next couple of weeks, we'll definitely be tackling that and talking about that as we go on. So thanks for popping in, man.
Yeah. No, thank you for having me, bro.
What's up, JD? What's up?
What's up, everybody? How are we all doing today?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, man.
I'm fucking 40. That's how I am.
Happy
birthday. What's going on?
Welcome to the club, brother. That's all good.
Exactly. Yes.
Hell yeah.
Good for you.
It's all good, man. 40 years young. It's all good, man.
Hey, so you're only as old as you know, as long as you're only as old as you feel. You make yourself feel. So. I'll stay young till the day I die. I'm surrounded by fucking plastic crack. I'm good.
I'll be good to go.
Nice, man. How do you enjoy your day? Did you have to work? Did you chill out? Or what's up? What did you do?
I went into work for a little bit, just kind of hung out, and just came home, kind of putzed around a little bit, and now I'm here.
I love putzing.
That's because you're such a fucking putz.
Hey.
Well, thanks for joining us on your special day. Glad to have you.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen.
Now that it's your birthday, I know you got to have some presents. Like what?
Actually, the only stuff that I got so far is stuff that I bought myself, and I'm gonna make this real easy. If anybody wants to know what I got, just check my video from yesterday that I posted on the Facebook page. I got a lot of stuff, so from Marvel Legends, Transformers, fucking Star Wars. I got a whole mess of shit. A couple of new Gundam kits. And
jeez, what you get, a fucking Baldwin drop? What the fuck?
Yeah. Always. It's always a Baldwin drop with JD.
Got to go watch that. I'm like, man, I'm curious now.
There you go, guys. Cheap plug, Realm of Collectors on Facebook. Check us out.
Check us out.
Thanks for popping in, man, and happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, next up, Agent H in the house tonight. What's going on? I like what you're sipping there, too. What's up, brother? Sorry, I caught you.
guys, how you doing?
Got some of that Malibu. Got some of that
some Malibu.
Were you drinking that right from the bottle?
Just straight from the bottle. It's been one of those days, gentlemen. So, but no, I didn't get anything this week yet. Have some stuff on the way. Still waiting for my ninjas from Foosh.
Ninja.
That's gonna come. I have no idea, but I'm still hoping and praying.
Mm-hmm.
And I already discussed on Plastic Fanatics the lovely care package I got from my Pizza Hasbro. So check that out. And that's
Nice.
about it. But thanks for having me on back again. I try not to have any more rants tonight.
It's all
Come
good.
on. Now we got to shit.
Hey, Darius, I have a question for you, dude. Does Hasbro pay you in plastic when toys when you go to these conventions?
Not really.
They give you a paycheck, right?
Just a paycheck, straight cash, people. But no, I don't like going to these conventions. I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, but after doing 10 of them straight in a row, I'm done. Let somebody else do the convention circuit. It just gets so hot and crowded.
And it's smelly. I know.
Smelly, then you get the sleazy toy scalpers trying to slip you money every minute, every time you're trying to go back and put up more stuff on the booths and stuff like that. So I'm done.
Can't you just take the money and run? Or
I'm gonna bump into some cosplayer, some King Kong cosplayer, then I'm screwed if I just take it a run,
I'll be handing him like old Toy Biz figures and say, "These are coming. This is a new figure. Check this out."
I should do that, right?
You should. They won't even know.
These are prototypes, and then try to see them tomorrow on eBay for $500.
People are like, "What the hell is that?"
Limited edition.
But nothing yet. But I'll keep you guys posted when anything else comes in.
Awesome.
Cool, man. Cool. Thanks for popping on, man.
No problem. Thank you.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you with the liquor. So cheers. All right. Next up, G Money. What's going on, man?
Not too much, man. It's only Tuesday. I hope everybody's having a good week so far, though.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's going, man. I'm on vacation next week, and I usually, when I'm ready to go on vacation, the week goes by slow. Past 2 days, flying by.
That's
so
good.
I'm happy, man.
I always say it's almost like the best days are the couple days before vacation starts, and you got the whole break ahead of you. It's good.
Yeah.
That is like the
How you
best
doing
feeling.
tonight?
So everything is good. It's it's like the first day I think in 3 weeks that the temperature here hasn't been 95 degrees or higher, so I've kind of enjoyed it a little bit.
yeah, it was nice.
It's so nice here, man.
But yeah, it's good. It's been a good week so far. Are we doing our pickups? I missed it. Yep.
Yeah. If you want to share what you got.
Yeah, I got I'll say I got two things, and one of them kind of maybe lead into the topic a little bit later. But thanks to Mr. Pinkerton, I picked up that Play Arts Kai Deadpool that he had won, I think, in a raffle, and I like it quite a bit. It's very cool. And then I also picked up, but I don't have it anymore because I really didn't like it, and I tried to like it. Was the X-Transbots Cyclonus? What's his name? The Elagos. So. Yeah, I had them. I think I posted in the chat. Just I don't know. It didn't hit me in the right spot, so I had a chance to kind of break out of them and kind of flip them pretty quick. So.
Oh, nice. So you flipped them already?
Yeah,
wow.
He's gone. Yeah.
I felt like it was like 2 days ago in the chat.
It was. No, it was. It was just one of those things. Like I said, I'll probably lead into the topic. I think we've all been there. Sometimes you make a purchase maybe just out of curiosity or out of boredom, and I think that's what that was. So.
Yeah,
it's good. You kind of recycle it and keep the process rolling.
All right. Well, you didn't do too bad there, especially with the reveal that Perfect Fusion's coming out with a Cyclonus. You know what I'm saying? So there's
exactly.
one coming.
Yep, always be another one. So it's good.
All right, sweet man. Next up, Big Dom. How you doing, bro?
What's going on, guys?
What's up?
Not much. What did I get this week? I found this bad boy at Toys R Us, the Leader Class Megatron. I stopped. Yeah, I think they screwed us on it in paint apps because I think I had from the photos at what was it, ToyCon? He had a lot more paint apps in that picture than what I'm seeing here.
Well, that's typically how they do.
Yeah, that's the display model. Display model looks nicer.
What a dick tease.
I know, right?
Bastards.
Well, Dom, it's a window box. I mean, you bought it at the store, right?
Yeah, but
Did you look at it there? Like, when I take it out of the box, the paint apps will show up.
If no, it's just that I am I'm a leader. I collect leader class movie figures.
Did you work some Dominomics on that?
No, not at all. I don't fool around with Toys R Us anymore. And then I picked up the double pack of Ryan packs in the Cybertron Optimus.
Oh, nice!
That's cool.
Yeah, shout out to Merc with a Mouth for posting the link in that for that in the Facebook group, man. $30, Amazon can't beat it.
Can't beat that.
Yep.
So I'm liking the Ryan packs that uses the cup mold, and it looks really good. So I'll open up that tonight. And then I got my Mezco exclusive Spider-Man, the Miles Morales.
Oh, sweet.
So, and I did my Deadpool's coming. My what's that movie? The Deadpool with the green, the X-Men Deadpool's coming in. Should be here tomorrow or Thursday.
The kick-ass version.
Oh, nice.
Kick-ass version. There you go.
Yeah.
The kick-ass version. But that's all I have.
Sweet. All right, next up, John Addict. How you doing, bro?
Yo, what up? It's good, everybody.
What's up?
Not much.
Fuck you, Dave.
Yep, Cons Don Juan. I'm just reading your tagline right now.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Dave.
Yo,
Fuck you, Dave.
yo, I got to shout out JD again. Happy birthday, brother.
Yep.
And Dom had a birthday, too,
He
for
did.
everybody listening in the chat. His
Yeah.
birthday was this week as well.
Buddy.
Happy birthday, motherfucker.
It's not my 40th. I'm 1 year behind, so next year.
Well, JD did say you are as old as you feel. So how old do you feel, Dom?
Oh, I feel like
65?
I'm 60, dude. I should have fucking retired 2 years ago. Fucking, oh man, I should get out of this shit. Too old for this shit.
Never too old for this shit. We're gonna be like fucking old guys with our dentures still collecting toys.
We'd be like customer service at Target. I don't want these toys anymore.
Shit. As far as hauls this week, I didn't get shit, to be quite frank. I'm taking my wife on vacation, so that was a pretty penny, and I'm trying to save up for TFCon, so I'm trying to behave. I got those Mezco, you hear me? Fucking the NECA turtles last week, and that was as far as my pockets were gonna run.
Let's go.
I got a few things with Hanny in the works too, but you know, when he decides to ship them, I'll get them eventually. I was also on a other podcast on Friday night called Fresh Communication. Had a great time with those dudes, and if you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. It's pretty cool.
It is.
Those guys are great. I'll shout them out again. And I got to make one more shout out if you guys don't mind. P_LLO Paul in the Instagrams, right? I told him I would shout him out because he did a funny picture on Instagram. He had the Susano, the bludgeon, the third-party bludgeon that came out. And he did like a scroll of pics. And I think it's his gorgeous wife that he put in these pictures. She's showing some cleavage. And he said, if this don't get a shout out from Rum Collectors, then nothing will. They didn't post any pics yesterday, so I told them, listen, if you watch the Hangout on Tuesday, I got you. So shout out to him and those lovely pics. So again, P_LLO. Check him out. What was that handle again there? P_LLO. It's my boy Paul from the Instagrams.
Secrets
Got
out.
some interesting things on his page. So
Show your wife's tits. I'll get you.
That's about it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. Popping up. All right, next up, the analyzer, Brian Brink.
Hold on, I'm busy.
He's busy.
We're gonna have to pause. Like, I'm gonna have to check out the person's.
Your articulation on those, Brian. I tell you, articulation on those.
Brian, I found a way to conflict you.
Yeah, hold on.
I know, right?
Right next door to TF Con, there's a strip club. Which one do you go to first?
Boobs and toys, baby. Boobs and toys.
Yo, Brian. This guy's 237th follower. There we go. Now, aren't you glad you signed up for Instagram now? That's right.
He's gonna notice an influx of people following his ass.
Bludgeon and boobies.
Nice. Bludgeon and boobies.
It's a great combo.
B&B.
Something to make that figure better. Anyway.
Right. That's a good one, Russ.
So Dave.
Yo.
If you need money for TFCon, just let me know if you're gonna sell those turtles.
Ooh.
Oh, look at that.
Ooh, he's already pimping him out.
He's trying to make your wife happy right now. You see? Get him out. Get him out.
She wants that excursion, Dave. So you better sell him now.
Excursion, extra word up.
Yep.
All right, what's up, guys? How you guys doing?
What's up, Brian? How you doing, bro?
Hey, Brian.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to the topics tonight. I think I got answers. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm curious to see what the rest of you guys think.
Yeah, me too, actually. I don't know.
As far as stuff I picked up this week, I got the Batman animated series Batmobile.
Boom, boom.
Yeah,
dude,
man,
I love that pick you took with Batman and Robin in there. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's shit like that makes me. Again, we're gonna speak about it later. That's one of our topics.
And
wow, that was nice.
I picked up some Marvel Legends. I got Rocket and Chris Pratt, and I picked up, and also Gamora, who this is the only one I've opened, and she's doing her Tuscan Raider. Anyway, yeah, I'm amazed. It looks like if you saw Bobby's review on Jessica Jones this morning, it looks like there's digital paint on here. I'm pretty freaking impressed with this. It's really nice.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Save money. May not have to get those figures anymore.
Let's say it. Let's give them their props.
Don't say that. Say it ain't so.
It's so. It's so.
Dude, you nailed the face sculpt. You nail the face sculpt, man. You got it, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Way to go, Hasbro. Holy.
Coming for that money, baby. Coming for that money.
That's it.
Dave, Dust is in the chat. He's asking, what's that IG again for your boy?
All right, one last time for everybody. P_LLO.
Kilo.
Tell him Manager John sent you.
All right, sweet. I think that covers everybody.
Show the boobies and they will come.
All right, so we got some things to discuss tonight. We're gonna try to maybe even try to get into some that Power of the Primes discussion. Some of the reveals that we got from SDCC from Hasbro. We're not gonna tackle that whole show. If you wanna see the SDCC 2017 discussion, check out Plastic Fanatics on Victory Saber 77's channel. He had a 6-hour plus show, full on coverage of SDCC for you guys. Check that out. Plastic Fanatics, the latest episode on Victory Saber 77's channel. And if you want the Cliff Notes version of that, check out last night's Enter the Realm, our flagship show on this channel. 2.5 hours of SDCC talk. Lots of reveals, lots of great stuff that we saw. So we might try to get into some of that Transformers discussion and some of those picks that we saw. And we got some leaks out too. Real interesting stuff. So we'll see. I'm going to pass the mic to G Money, though. We got some cool questions and topics for tonight. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. And guys, everybody watching live, everybody that's in the chat, these questions are for you too. I'll shout you guys out. Let us know your thoughts as the show goes on. So, G, take it away, bro.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. So yeah, I was just kind of thinking, we look on social media, on all the different podcasts, when people talk about things that they're, purchasing or what they've gotten, you'll hear that term kind of going down the rabbit hole. And I know it's a reference to Alice in Wonderland, but I'm kind of curious as a group, what does that term really mean for us in relation to our collecting? So I figured we kind of talk about that a little bit. Typically when someone mentions it, maybe they're picking up a new line or they're trying a new series of figures. But I'm curious, what prompted that attempt? Is it curiosity? Like I mentioned, buying that X-Transbots toy this week. Was it boredom? Was it that plastic crack need we always talk about, where you just want to get a package in the mail and maybe haven't got one for a little while? I figured then we can kind of just, what does it mean? When you actually go down the hole, is it one purchase when you try something new, or do you hit that part at 5, right, within that line? So I figured kind of talk it through a little bit and just see what it means to us, and share some stories. Maybe we found something we really liked quite a bit that surprised us, and maybe something to the opposite we thought we'd really like, and it was a big disappointment once we got it in hand. So it's cool. I'll kind of just share a couple things. So like for me, I've never owned a Hot Toys figure before, and it was kind of curious. I see all the pictures; they look phenomenal, but never actually had a chance to handle one or see it in person. And so I did a lot of research, kind of figure out which character would I really like if I tried one, and I didn't end up liking it, and ended up going with that Michael Keaton style Batman from the Batman Returns. And it's interesting. It's like it's a cool figure. They look phenomenal. It's almost a little overwhelming, like the amount of detail and accessories that it came with. But I don't think I'll buy any more. Like, I think I'm good with it, and I'm happy with that one representation on the shelf. But it's not something I personally feel the need to go down any further. Kind of, flip it around a little bit. These Play Arts Kai, like the Marvel, that Deadpool is awesome. Again, I was just kind of curious to see what it looked like. I've already got the Wolverine to match it. And I don't know if I feel the need to go back and buy every character, but those two in particular, I'm really surprised, like how much I actually like the style, how they look, kind of posing them, the shelf presence that they have. And so it's interesting. So as I looked at all the news this week and all the other shows, that was one of the things that caught my eye that maybe previously I wouldn't have paid much attention to. I would have focused on the Transformers or, some of the Legend stuff or the figure arts. And so now I've got a different thing kind of catching my eye. I'm just kind of curious what you guys think on that line, and what rabbit holes have you gone down, and what would that journey look like for you?
Well, first, let me tell you, Gary, you just made James fucking millennia.
Oh, absolutely.
Right now. Because James loves all that shit, and he does so much work on getting shit together. And he's probably like, "Oh, you mean somebody loves seeing that stuff?" All right.
But Russ, it's a good point though, because and Jose, like, you're guilty of it too. So I want to be careful, because I don't want to paint a picture like, oh, I just kind of go with the flow, or I don't make my own decisions. But sometimes a picture will like really kind of sway an opinion, I think, one way or the other.
That's true.
And especially a picture from like a fellow collector, and not someone on their store site or production images or prototype stuff. So like the same thing. I've never bought a movie figure in my life. I saw how Jose got that Masterpiece Bumblebee together in Camaro mode, and I'm like, oh, that thing looks awesome. I want to see maybe experience what that looks like and see if I like it or not. So you're right. So Jamie's his pictures, man, it helped. That's for sure. It absolutely helped. Kind of talking.
I mean, look at Dave's boy is gonna like help with that Suzuyo figure.
Oh, right, yeah.
I mean, shit. I mean, pictures do it all, man.
Yeah, definitely, for sure, Gary. Pictures and just the way social media is blown up, because that's what it is. Everything is social media centered nowadays. It is what it is. I think we've discussed it on the Hangouts before. Like, if it wasn't for social media, would you be collecting as hard? Would you be collecting as much? And for me, definitely seeing the stock photos, or when people actually have the figures in hand and they're starting to take pictures of it, seeing those photos definitely makes me want to buy this stuff. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta be like, you know what? You got to see what you could afford and whatnot. But for sure, I've gone down the rabbit hole many times. And a recent example would be, like, let's say the Marvel Legends. It's not a line I ever really collected. Back in the day with the Toy Biz stuff, you collected figures here and there, but I wasn't heavy into it, like not like I am with the Transformers. But then seeing, being on Instagram and seeing guys like D Amazing and even guys like Metallics XD, those toy photographers out there taking such great shots of their figures, and just seeing, all the posing and the action scenes and the way they frame their photos. It's like you're watching a movie in a way. it made me want those figures. And I got into, you know, buying the Spider-Man Marvel Legends and the X-Men Marvel Legends. And you know what? And eventually I wound up selling them. I still got some of them and I'm trying to get rid of them. But after a while, I was just caught up in the fever and I was buying them. And you know, and I did have my fun with them. I opened them. I took my pictures. It was fun for a while, but I wasn't getting the same enjoyment out of them as I do with like Transformers, like what I usually collect. So, you know what, definitely went down the rabbit hole because I spent hundreds of bucks. I wound up getting, you know, a ton of Marvel Legends, you know, entire Guardians of the Galaxy line.
Thank you very much.
The entire Spider-Man line, you know, like just tons of figures I bought. And now it's like, man, I really didn't need those. You know what I'm saying? So I went down that rabbit hole. Thank goodness. Like I kind of realized, you know what, it's not really for me. You know what I'm saying? But I had the experience. And you know what, like you said, for me, it was seeing all the pictures on social media, and I definitely bought more than 5 or 6 figures, so I definitely went all the way down that hole, so to speak.
So if I could ask, I'm curious, where did you start to source those? You know, when you kind of got into the Legends, was it online? Was it in groups, or was it, you know, kind of brick and mortar retail stores?
Definitely online, which is how I do most of my shopping. I don't do too much toy hunting, you know. Gotcha. So I was able to get a lot of that stuff on the cheap from like Amazon. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Prime member, getting, you know, Legends for 15, 16, 17 bucks. You know, some of those rare figures a little bit more. But I basically bought everything at retail. I didn't get raped for anything. And I'm just trying to get rid of the stuff for like what I paid for it. So I'm not trying to make any money. But I mean, it was nice. Like I said, just kind of just going down that rabbit hole. It's like you said too, you bought that Play Arts Kai Deadpool. I got a few Play Arts Kai figures. I love them. I love the detail. I love the paint, the attention to detail that those figures bring to the table. But issues, I can't display everything. So everything's in a box. I can't enjoy it. And, you know, my true love is really like Transformers and stuff. So, you know, if I'm going to go all in on a line, it's always going to be Transformers. And I could do what you do. And like, I don't have to really go all in on a line. I could just kind of pick and choose if I like something, and it could go, you know, I could find a spot for it.
That's cool.
When I eventually find some shelf space.
I asked about the sourcing piece because I'm curious too, as you guys kind of share your stories. I think sometimes we're guilty of finding something as a matter of convenience. So, you know, whether, you know, Legends is something that's in brick and mortar stores sometimes, depending on our markets, and maybe it's something to look for, right? When you're out, like doing what I call like, you know, more like actual grown-up shopping at the store. But even Amazon is a good reference. I've been guilty of that, where I'm shopping for legitimate household items, and then, oh, let me check figure arts and just see if there's anything that looks appealing to me, right? And maybe I'll try the Harley Quinn. I can't tell you how many times I've thrown one of those Ninja Turtles figure arts in the cart and then deleted it. You know, just because I'm like, let me try one. Nah, I don't really want to. I can put that money towards something else.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that does that. But it's hard, and then you come to your senses.
Yeah, it's convenient. So awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Nah, no problem. No problem.
I definitely think that Marvel Legends is a dangerous one to dip your toe in, man. You can get hooked, line, and sinker on that shit.
Please dip in, guys. Anybody wants to dip in, please dip in.
That's Darius's retirement.
Exactly. He's looking for that quarter bonus.
Yeah, it's like get the stocks back up.
For contributing with his 401k.
I did that. We did that with Anna though. She was like interested in some of the figure art Star Wars figures, so she got a couple of them, and now it's like figure arts is all she looks at now. Just looking at you know, it's like that's just she's bought into it. You know, that's her thing now. And so me, I'm a cheap ass. I don't like spending all that money on that shit. So I'm trying to like, you know, that's more figures I can buy. You know, more stuff. So I'm trying to get on the cheap. You know, but yeah, sometimes you can get in. You can, you know, dip your toe in, and man, all of a sudden you're pulled in. You're sucked. You know, so it happens.
Russ, appreciate your business, Russ. I appreciate your business.
What's interesting, Russ, is I think, like you mentioned, and we had a lot of talk about the Stunticons, right, and the pricing, and I think they finally revealed the pricing of those aerial bots recently, which is, I think, pretty similar, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But sometimes there's a cost and value kind of enjoyment ratio to it too, right? So you know, like you were sharing that Beetle. I was the Beetle. I think on one of the other shows.
Yeah, it's the Beetle. It's one of my favorite characters.
Exactly, right? So there's a win without spending a crap load of money on it.
Yeah, you're right. It definitely, I think, goes to your personal preferences when it comes to that kind of thing, especially when it comes to characters. Like, I mean, I like a lot of obscure characters, you know, sometimes. So
me too. I'm the same way.
Yeah,
I wonder why.
Yeah, when they, well, you know, I'm kind of obscure myself, Dave.
There you go. I think we all are, bro. That's why we're here together.
That's why we're here.
I still look cool and shit.
We're all misfits.
But yeah, but when that's why I like Marvel Legends now too, is a lot more now because they're starting to do some obscure stuff.
Sure,
and it's kind of cool, and so it's attracting me, you know. And unfortunately, it's killing me because I'm torn between that and third-party Transformers. So it's like I'm find myself trying to save $20 here and there to spend on spend $100 on this, you know, on other shit. So,
but Russ, just remember one thing. Hasbro has always been there for you since you was a little boy. Third party companies come and go, but Hasbro will be there always. Just remember that.
So, Uncle Hasbro.
Are you trying to scare me, or what are you trying?
No, I'm just saying.
Hasbro will always be there.
We're like family. It did sound very ominous. You know, like your fondest memories on Christmas Day, you open up your Constructicon set, you know, or your Seekers when you were 11 years old, Russ. There was no third parties then. You know, I'm just saying, where's all these third parties today? They're gone tomorrow, but Hasbro will be there like your family. Your family all you want, but
they'll be there to feed you
in the time of need.
I don't know, man. What about Uncle Kenner and Uncle Coleco?
Uncle Kenner got into the Hasbro family.
Oh, is that how that happened?
We adopted Uncle Kenner.
Oh, shit.
5 years, Mattel will be with us.
I believe that.
You know what? I'd be down with that because maybe Hasbro will do a decent He-Man figure.
Listen, it's not even a decent figure; it's a decent sales process. That works.
That's it. Just allow us to buy them.
Exactly.
God, you know.
Russ, we need to do a rant on that one day together.
I know.
That's ridiculous.
Shit, I'm about to go on there right here.
But as for G Money, like you were saying about going into the rabbit hole, my rabbit hole is Storm Collectibles as of late. And I tell you what, besides making some phenomenal figures, they carry certain lines that other companies are not carrying, doing licensings on. Like for instance, my rabbit hole entry was the Ring Size Collectibles Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Wow. I mean, first of all, NWO for life, and that figure is a pure representation of that NWO for life. So I have to get it.
I still remember those promos, Hogan's promos on Nitros. That when you're with when you're with Hollywood and you're with the NWO, you're with us for life. Word up.
You know what? Some of his best work, dude. Seriously.
No
shit, it really
was.
was.
He's a shitbag and he's an egomaniac and all that, but his best work was Hollywood Hogan. So I give much respect for that.
With his dyed-in mustache, with his dyed-in beard.
That figure looks good, though. I saw some pics of that. I was like, God damn, that's nice. So
it's great. So, but yeah, as well with that, I mean, I'm a big fighting games guy. So they're doing those great Street Fighter figures.
Yeah.
They started doing
I love them
combat,
so much.
and now Tekken.
My God.
My wish list. If they're gonna continue doing fighting game licensing, for the love of God, I want some King of Fighters and Fader Fury.
Like that. How about
I can see a beautiful Geese Howard figure mixed by those guys. Klaus Hauser and Terry Bogard. Or I just
Oh, I love the Terry Bogard, the D-Arts one that I got.
Yes, exactly. And they didn't make any more, you know, and that's why it broke my heart. So that's another reason why I don't like about going into certain rabbit holes, because, you know, you start to get into a line and then, you know, they only just make maybe 1 or 2 figures. I'll give you a perfect example. I forgot which company who made these. but they made these Gotcha Man figures. They made Ken and they made
Oh yeah, those look good. I was almost in those too.
They had the light up chest and everything, and I just wanted them to complete the set, and they said they may not able to get to do that. So that kind of shit, right? It's horrible.
Are those the die-cast ones?
Yeah, the kind of die-cast plastic, nice. And they have their insignia lights up and everything. They're beautiful. But,
oh my god, yep.
But I want them to hope they do. I wanted them to complete the set. So that's my main issues about going into certain collecting, because you start into that rabbit hole, you get so into it, and then they don't complete.
They don't.
Example, like Mattel when they started that fucking Thundercats.
You had to go there.
Stealing my thunder.
Yeah.
Thundercats, man. That was it. I was gonna be. I hold back because I was going to buy them, but let me just wait for them to announce the rest of them, and I don't mind playing the aftermarkets for the ones I missed, But then they said no, and I said, you know what? I'm glad I saved my money on that, because once again, Mattel disappointed me.
So now we know why Darius wants Hasbro to acquire Mattel.
Damn right, I want that fucking license.
Okay,
Give me that Thundercats license. I'll do some justice to it.
Right.
Fuck.
Look at this. I love that.
But anyway, that's my story about going into the rabbit hole. But.
Nice, man. So any of that video game stuff, if they start producing that stuff and going all in, you're in on that stuff.
Definitely.
And yeah, that's dope. And you know what? And just the way figures are being made now, like seeing the Storm Collectibles Street Fighter stuff and Fig Arts is doing Street Fighter, that shit looks spectacular. You know what I'm saying? There's no better time than now to be an action figure collector.
Yeah,
so
there's a lot of good shit coming out from everybody, man. It's amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not just third-party Transformers. I think, to your point, it's so I had one of those Storm collectibles. I had the purple Ryu, and it was an awesome figure, but I stopped because I was afraid of getting too deep. and I had to ask myself, am I really that committed to Street Fighter, or is it just an awesome figure? And it was great. And comparing that to some of the Mattel classics from just a couple of years ago, things keep getting better and better. You talk about the Legends quality, Brian, with the paintwork. It makes it tempting because the quality is getting a lot better in a lot of ways.
But G, the saving grace about collecting, fighting characters, that you don't have to have a complete set of all of them.
True.
Because you can always just grab your favorite fighter and then you just be happy with that. But now if you're a full fighting fanatic, then of course you want to have all the fighters. But so it's that kind of flip of a coin. So I can be happy if they stop doing it, because they already released they already released Ken and Ryu and Akuma. Those are my favorites, as and Guile. I think they're gonna be doing Guile as well. So I want to grab him. So I'm happy with that. But I will definitely get them all if they do produce all the fighters, over the time period.
That's cool.
But but certain figures Gotcha Man and Thundercats, you gotta have more than one character,
Yeah.
That's how I feel about that.
You know what, Gary? I can tell you're the kind of guy that dips your toe in the pool before you go in, aren't you?
Yeah, I really do, because what happened, like you mentioned, the attention span sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I was talking to Energon. He's like, dude, already? He's like, that didn't last long about that Cyclonus. I'm like, I can't tell you, man. It wasn't hitting me in the feels, right? And I think we're sometimes searching for that as part of the purchase. So,
I think you're right. Yeah.
With me in regards to rabbit holes, I'm a completist at heart, so I have to be careful when going down rabbit holes, because I will try to complete or be the completist when I go down that hole. Like Marvel Legends is one of my when I started collecting, it was just Transformers. I just wanted Transformers. That's it. And then all of a sudden, Marvel Legends came into be, and now I'm a completist with Marvel Legends.
Appreciate that business, Dom.
Yeah, so better appreciate that, damn it. Burns a hole in my pocket every fucking week. But and then when Black Series came out and the Star Wars Black Series started happening, I jumped on that first wave. I thought the figures were great, and then I'm a completist on Black Series stuff. So it's now. Funny thing is you look back and it's like, oh, it's just going to be Transformers. It's just going to be Transformers. And my wife constantly reminds me of it. Like, you know, I thought I was just going to be Transformers. What is this?
Just like Dave, like his wife would, like, what the fuck is this 18-inch Ninja Turtle doing?
So she's like, did we adopt another kid or something?
So surely over the years, it's just my collecting habits expanded over just Transformers. So I've gone down several rabbit holes, and I think one I was going to go down was the Batman animated, and I was going to start buying them up like Brian, and all of a sudden I was like, you know what, should I do this? And all of a sudden I got into Mezco, the 112 figures, and I said, you know what, if I'm doing Mezco, I can't go down Batman. So I gave up Batman, sold most of my figures to Brian, and started collecting Mezco. So it's you know, of course I went for the more expensive one. I wish I can go back to Batman animated, because, you know, Mezco is like $75-80 a pop. It's ridiculous. But I think it's like the redneck of Hot Toys is Mezco. Like, I love getting Mezco because you can't go for the $250 mark. You can go with the $80 and get your doll life going on at a smaller level.
You know, and think about it, like, how horrible is it to say something like that? Because, like, retail at like $20, okay, like that's pretty much what, you know, everybody could kind of get. Right. You know, $80 I wouldn't really consider high end.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But it is that poor man's Hot Toys.
That's a poor man's Hot Toys.
Poor man's Hot Toys. Yeah, that's what I'm defining it as.
So Dom, tell us a little bit about your. I mean, you mentioned before your Transformer Cybertron collection.
Yes.
Didn't you set some guidelines for yourself there, kind of?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to. I watched this. You know, one of the shows out of the trilogy that I liked the most was Cybertron. So I watched that whole series. Enjoyed the series for what it was worth. And then I'm like, you know, do I really want to collect the toys? I really put it on hold for a while, and then just this past, I would say, the beginning of the summer or like early spring, I decided to say, you know what, let me just buy the characters from the show. I don't want to buy all the repaints or from the Energon repaints and stuff like that. So I said, you know, just let me buy the figures from the show. So I just made an Excel spreadsheet, put all the characters in the line, and then that came out in the line, and I just started selecting the ones that I knew from the show, and those are the ones I'm buying up. So I kind of had a plan with those, and I've been buying them up, and they've gotten expensive. You know, some of those characters or figures go for a lot of money. Even Cybertron toys, which are was it early 2000s when that came out?
Sir.
Yeah. So
you know.
So
Dom, would you say you went down the rabbit hole with a rope?
Right.
Yes. I went. I had a nightlight.
Yeah.
I had a rope.
You're like spelunking.
I had my boots on. Yes. So I had a game plan. I think that's better when you go down a rabbit hole. Take a look at take a look at the figures. See what's been out. Like Darius said, like, you know, is there a future? You think, are they going to continue the line? Is there strength in the line there? Because, you know, they might back out, and then all of a sudden you're halfway through the line, and there's no more, you know, you can't get your other characters that you should be getting.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, I'm always scared about that with regards to Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. Like, I would love to get into that Mortal Kombat line, but are they going to make all the characters? So
yeah,
you know, but like, and that hurts me. That hurts me for my completionist, because if I go into a line and then like they're not making any more characters, or they stop the line, then what am I going to do? I don't have the full set of characters and that I can remember and that love and cherish. So at the end of the day, like, I don't want the line anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's hard, but like there's I've definitely gone down the rabbit hole head first, and sometimes I went down the rabbit hole with a little caution. But like I said, I try to stay within my new lines of toy lines that I go into. I don't try to stray off too much these days, because it's just carrying, like, you know, 5 different lines that you like collecting that have been strong and have been going. And I think you know, I can't pick up another one.
No.
So it's just that I just, you know, feel like, you know, after how many rabbit holes can you go down, and eventually something's going to suffer for it. You know, one of your other lines are going to suffer for it.
Yeah. I think you definitely have to be able to pick and choose.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just what it is. Of course we'd want everything,
Exactly.
but it's just not reality.
I wish I was making $1 million and I could buy any toy that I fucking want. But
exactly.
I like hot toys, but like,
We're going to have to settle for Mezco.
Settle for the $80 Mezco.
What I think is cool, though, is you kind of had a little bit of a plan, right? And you kind of said, the safety line. Brian, you had a pretty good plan. Yeah, I think you shared with us in the past, too, for your animated collection, didn't you?
Did I? I think I had a plan.
The plan was get everything.
Maybe I'm mistaken. I thought you said you also kind of did a spreadsheet and you were comparing prices. I
did. Okay. So, if it's my turn, sure, I can talk about that. But when it comes to rabbit holes, I've gone down a few. I didn't start collecting again until 2012 when I found Hercules by accident while surfing the net for Devastator. And I just wanted to look at pictures of Transformers, and I type in Devastator and Hercules shows up. And anyway, you make that first purchase, and then all of a sudden, wow, all right, you can send $100 to China and they send you something cool. It's like, let's try that again, kind of stuff. And anyways, I've always been a Prime collector ever since I grew up and got out of school, I guess. Just getting stuff that I've never had before, like every iteration of the figure. And that has come to bite me, where I can't stop getting them because I have so many. It's like, well, now I can't miss one, kind of thing. So that's always kind of dangerous, going down the rabbit hole. The interesting thing is then you start rationalizing with yourself. Like, this was 2013 when I discovered like the Fans Project City Commander set. And I'm like, well, technically it's for Ultra Magnus, but Ultra Magnus is a Prime mold, so I guess I should get that too, kind of thing. And then there's multiple colors of it and KOs of it. I'm like, well, if I'm gonna be a Prime collector, I might as well go all in. And then, and then sure enough, you're spending hundreds of dollars on the sleep mode Optimus Prime, right? Kind of thing, which I actually got for a steal now that I think about it, looking at prices of it now. But anyway, like that was to me just kind of loving Transformers. But when I really wanted to take that dive down, Darius, you brought up those Thundercats, man. I was watching people collect the He-Mans. They were signing up for subscriptions, and like these things would just magically become delivered to their house on a regular basis and things like that. And I was like, when they announced Thundercats, I was like, dude, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna jump all the way in. I'm gonna subscribe to something. I started looking at monthly expenses. I'm like, all right, how many figures per month is he think is gonna be? How much are these things? It's like, all right, I started factoring it into my monthly expenses, and then they just freaking poured a bunch of cement in that friggin' hole, man. Freaking killed it.
Poor soul.
Can't get out.
Dude, that was a heartbreaker because I was gonna give you my money,
Right.
and I was gonna go full completionist too. I was like, dude, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go completionist on a line just to say I did it, right? And also, it's a line that I would love anyway. So then when that dried up, I started looking at those Batman figures, and I found them. The first time I really started thinking about it was I went to Baltimore Comic-Con last year, and I saw a vendor had them all up on the pegs, and I was looking at the prices like, wow, these are reasonable, and I like that series. So I thought about it for a while, and so that brings me to Gary, what you said. I did put up a spreadsheet, and I started looking at Amazon, at BBTS, at eBay, maybe a couple other stores, and I started finding the right price or finding all the prices. And so I would basically figure out what the highest price was, and I put that in a special column, and then I used the other columns to put the prices of what they actually were at those different retailers. And then I started putting the formulas in. I'm like, all right, if I buy it here, I'm actually saving money, So you start tricking yourself again. It's like and that's one of the keys. Like, if you can trick yourself into saving money with every purchase that you make,
right,
That's some dangerous rationalization.
That's
Oh yeah.
that's Freakonomics right there, buddy.
Dude, I used to work at Circuit City retail, and I was a computer fucking nerd back then, and it's like, well, as long as I'm working here and they're offering me stuff at discount, that means every purchase I make, I'm saving money because I would have bought it anyway, kind of thing. But that's not necesserally true. Sometimes it was just
buy more.
It was just there. Yeah. But I don't know. One of my traps is like huge clearance sales. Like there's stuff I picked up Black Friday last year, which was I always had a minor interest in, but I was like, I'm not gonna spend that money. But then once you see it for a really good price, you buy it, and I still got stuff I haven't opened yet from last year.
Wasn't that Quantron one of them? You picked up the Quantron, right?
Yeah, so I picked up a Quantron. Yeah. So I actually collect combiners in that old scale, and I'm actually kind of done now. I'm thinking about maybe getting that Guardia from Make Toys if it goes on sale and replace C-Dub Defensor. But I mean I'm done there, so that's kind of nice.
Nice.
I don't know, but these Zeta toys, I don't know, man, or X Transbots, I don't know. It's like I don't know.
$40 and $60.
Yeah,
not a bad investment.
But the other thing I just kind of want to mention was a little, well, going back to the Batman stuff. I want to go completionist on it. And the nice thing is they're all out already. There's like just a few left to get that they haven't even released, and it's just a matter of budgeting and saving because they're going to be there because it looks like they're not that popular. So you just got to keep waiting, and eventually I'll get them all, and I'm pretty excited about that. When it comes to other stuff like Star Wars figure arts, right? That was dangerous. I was like, I'm only gonna get Kenobi because he's my favorite, And then it's like, well, I can't have Kenobi on there by himself. I got to get Maul, right? And then
again,
and it's like, well, now I'm just gonna I'll just get all the Jedis. It's like, no, I can't do that. It's like, well, now I'm only gonna collect the original like first trilogy figures, and so far I've been staying true to that, and I haven't been going crazy buying other ones. Except for the 4 clone troopers that I bought last week or 2 weeks ago. but it's
they were on the sale.
I know, right? You can't walk away from those sales. So yeah, I mean, just that kind of stuff's kind of dangerous when it comes to like these Marvel Legends. I've only picked up a few, and I'm actually very comfortable in myself of not going too far down. So that's nice. I can stop myself. I don't have to go get them all. And I've got 6-inch figures from like all over the place. I've got a few Marvel 11s for like I've got Spider-Man. I've got a couple of the Avengers. I got Gamora here now, and like Game of Thrones. I could easily get them all, right? But I only have the Hound and Daenerys, and I'm pretty satisfied with just that kind of stuff. And But hey, the largest rabbit hole I went down was, being a casual listener of podcasts and, saving links to YouTube channels and going out looking at TFW threads and TF prototype website, but then was going out and actually signing up for Facebook and getting into this fandom. I think that's the biggest rabbit hole that I fucking jumped into. It's fortunately here the Realm makes it easy for us. I mean, look at all the new faces I'm looking at, over the past couple months, right? So it's like, I think to me that's the biggest rabbit hole. I mean, because this thing is consuming me. It's consuming my time, and I couldn't be happier, to be honest.
Exactly. Yep.
The same way, buddy.
I love you.
That was nice. That was nice, Brian. Way to fuck it up, Dave.
No, man, but it really is true, man. Like, JD, you know, others that have, you know, newer faces in the collectors community. Like, that's what it's all about. Like, just bringing people in. This is a safe haven. There's other people out there with the same interests. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what it's all about, you know? So join us, guys.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Enter the realm.
Yeah. Real quick, shout out to Mattel and their fantastic business model. Anyway,
trying to have a nice, laid back conversation.
Hold up real quick before we move on. Shout out to Rob Milton in the chat. He said he got off of work early tonight, so he's able to catch the live stream. So we appreciate that. He says he blames all his non-Transformers purchases on the R.O.C. So I guess you know, seeing everything, you know, us talking about our hauls and watching the live streams, you know, he's getting enticed to jump down the rabbit hole, so to speak. Shout out to E Prime. He says he wants to go in on the Masters of the Universe line because of Dave. See, fuck you, Dave, man. You see what you're doing? You know, shout out to Sunday Heat. He's into the hot toy stuff. He says he got like the Han Solo and Stan Lee. But he says if he goes in with that stuff, it has to be like a character like he really loves. And
that's cool.
So not a completionist there, you know what I'm saying? And that's pretty awesome. That's, you know, when you're able to kind of cherry pick figures like that, you know, it saves you a lot of money, honestly, you know?
That's kind of how I do it. That's how I go about Marvel Legends. I cherry pick. I never get a full wave, you know.
If you're able to do that and you don't mind, then you're good money there, basically. Chat winging him, he said the DC Classics line was one of the first lines that he got into. He wound up getting the Green Lantern first, and it, you know, got him into getting the rest of the line. So that's awesome. That's actually another rabbit hole I went down too, just because I love the DC characters. I grew up reading DC comics. So, you know, when you get these action figures that are super articulated or at least, you know, for what you think that are non-fig arts and pretty faithful representations of the characters you love, you know, you just wind up going like all in. And I did on that line a little bit.
Shout out to
Dust Mites. Yeah, word up. Dust Mite says he cherry picks the Legends line, but he doesn't do anything with them. It just keeps them occupied in between those Transformers purchases. So I definitely get that too. Yeah, that's basically one of the reasons that Gary asks, like, what kind of makes you go down that rabbit hole? You know, like if your regular line that you collect isn't putting stuff out, it kind of does. You get bored. You're like, man, what else is out there? Let me see what this is like. Let me see what that's like. You know? Yeah. And all right. Anybody else?
Yeah, for me, I have jumped down plenty of rabbit holes. When I was younger, anything I saw, like I'm a sucker for going out and toy shopping, and you know, I love that thrill of the hunt sort of feel, and
definitely,
you know. Shout out to KB Toys, man. They always have shit. Always have shit on sale.
Yep.
So, you know, I browse through the aisles and I see something that kind of interests me. It's like, I don't know what this is, but it looks cool shit. So then I end up checking it out. I'll buy, you know, because they'd be cheap enough. It'd be like, whatever, $5 a figure. Sure, I'll buy the whole line. They have them all here. So I would just get them all. And, you know, at that time, I didn't have all that many bills. I might have had a car payment or whatever, and that was about it. Now, I still kind of do that. I'm still jumping down rabbit holes. The Marvel Legends is a big one, but I do cherry pick it. The SH Figuart Dragon Ball Z figures, I have, you know, anytime I find some of them, I usually buy them up. I still have my regulars, which, you know, anything 80s based, you know, so like, of course, the Transformers is #1, the G.I. Joe comes in second, and then, you know, Mask. What the hell else did I just get? Well, Thundercats, of course. Anything Thundercats I usually find, I usually pick it up. But yeah, when somebody's not putting something out, you know, that there is a sense of boredom, you know, so then I do look for something else. You know, I got into these Storm collectibles. You know, they're so pretty. Like that was another thing. I started seeing the pictures of them, and I'm like, wow, fuck these SH Figuart ones. Look at these. These look amazing.
All right, yo, real quick, what we just learned is that JD gets bored with one hole and jumps into another one. All right,
yeah, pretty much.
JD, you fucking stud.
That was great, Russ.
I wish that was the case. I wish it was the case. But yeah, I mean, you know, what, 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, I used to watch a lot of like Gundam Wing and stuff like that. So I have a shit ton of those. And then I got out of them and they just sat in bins. And then I was at Barnes and Nobles or whatever looking for some, you know, new Turtles toys or the new SH Figuart Dragon Ball Z shit. And I saw some of the real grade Gundam kits and I'm like, hey, I remember these. These are a lot of fun. So I ended up jumping back into it, you know.
You all right? Came back to an old hole. All right.
Yeah. You know, poke it a couple more times. You're good to go.
Very nice. Cool.
But yeah,
that's awesome, man.
See, man, you mentioned like getting bored and stuff like that does happen. You know what I'm saying?
It does.
And I think that's why we refer to all this stuff as plastic crap. You know what I'm saying? We're addicted. We just need to have something. It doesn't matter what the fuck it is. It has to be something. You know, you can't go too long without it.
You know, let's be honest. I mean, it does make us happy. You know, of course.
Oh, for sure.
You know, we spend a lot of time, like just putting displays together or just sitting around playing with them. We spend all this time sitting here talking about this stuff. You know, it's what makes us happy. So, you know, in my opinion, like if it makes you happy, that's awesome. Go for it. You know what I mean? Of course, money is always an object, right. But you figure it out some one way or another. Go ahead.
I know. I was going to say we use that term addiction to it, right? And everyone says, "Oh, the plastic crack." I think it's a little bit maybe human nature, but with fellow collectors, like Dave, how many times have I messaged you and said, "Okay, I'm done after this until TFCon," and his response to me is typically, "Gary, fuck you." And then he's like, yeah, who are you trying to kid? But I say it out loud so that maybe it kind of satiates that drive to kind of, be patient for a little bit and just kind of wait and see what else comes out, right?
Gary, are you trying to convince yourself, Gary? I can do this.
Exactly.
What are you looking at? What are you looking at right now that you're almost about to press the purchase button?
A ton of shit.
We'll talk about that right now. Trust me, we'll do it.
So, Dave, we know what rabbit holes you've been down. A fucking giant turtle this year.
Exactly.
Right now, so.
Listen. All right. So, Gary just said the word addiction. So, I think that if I were to call myself Toy Addict, it would sound okay, but Energon Addict sounds better.
Yes.
Transformers is my ultimate love. You know, it's like my go-to. And if I had to drop everything else, I would for Transformers.
Yeah.
But it's also like I don't collect just one line. It's not just Masterpiece. You know, I collect the MMC line. I collect some older stuff that I just still have. And I'm sure that something down the line will fucking, I almost started collecting the Little Legend ones that came out. But I said, no, I got to stop myself somewhere.
No, you should.
But nah, man. I started with this other shit. I mean, I'm fucking all right. So definition of rabbit hole to me is I've been down plenty of rabbit holes in my life. I'd say the biggest one was probably like 4 hits of ecstasy, a bunch of other drugs, and I don't remember how I ever got out of that hole, but that was a rabbit hole for me. But we use that word rabbit hole, like I guess like it's kind of like the unknown, like you're kind of like going into the unknown, kind of like Alice in Wonderland.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's you got to do your homework. I know a few of you guys said that and said, hey, you got to do your homework. I did. I'll give you a prime example. This year, I started getting the Motu Classic stuff, the Masters of the Universe shit, because I saw one and I said, oh shit, it looks great. I'll just get He-Man and I'll just get Skeletor. And I think I remember hitting you guys up in the group chat and I was like, yo, where do you get these and what the fuck do they cost? And oh, you need to go to this website and that website. Before you knew it, I have like 25 of them upstairs. You know, and it's like you can't get He-Man without the Battle Cat. And then if you have the cat for He-Man, you can't get the cat. You have to get the cat for Skeletor. And it's like, oh. And then it's like you don't want that version. You want the Filmation version because that's the one that looks just like the cartoon. And it's just like fuck, you know. So, and going into a rabbit hole like late in the game, kind of like how some people have described to me starting off their Transformer collections today. It's hard. I mean, because you're paying more for the figures that you know you're not getting them when they drop for $35. You're getting them for double, sometimes triple that price because you can't find it. So I think that's when we also use the term rabbit hole because the holes actually are pockets. You know what I mean? Like it just keeps getting deeper and deeper. You know, before you know it, you ain't got nothing left.
Seriously.
So, I mean, for me, I do get bored. I get bored at times with Transformers only because, and it's not me patting myself on the back or bragging, but I own a lot of them. Like, you know, I have a lot. So it's not much for me to shop for. You know, something new comes out. If it's Masterpiece scale, I'm getting it, obviously. And then there's nothing else to buy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck. And then again, with the realm, with social media, with all this collecting stuff, you start seeing other things and you're like, damn, that looks good, man. These people seem to enjoy that. I wonder if I like that, you know? So
yeah,
I might dabble. I might get a SH Figuarts figure. I might get, you know, I bought the Ninja Turtles, the Masters of the Universe stuff, and I enjoy it. But it's like almost like, damn, bro, like, what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, where are you going to put all this shit? You know, and can you afford to keep up on all this? You know what I mean? Like, it gets heavy at times.
It's an expensive hobby, my friend.
It is.
And it could become an addiction, you know? You know?
Oh, it is. It is an addiction. It definitely is. But it stems from our love, like, for all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all have something in us that it's like we kind of just, it's that small piece of us that never grew up, like that we just still love this shit, and we're, you know, and we have the disposable income. Like, you know what I'm saying? I remember as a kid, you know, like, those figures you couldn't get because your parents couldn't buy them for you. You know, it was what it was. But now, like, you're an adult, you could buy shit for yourself. Like, yeah, I'm buying that. Yep. I'm buying this. You know?
And it just keeps getting better. Like, the shit just keeps coming, you know, keeps looking more real, more like the cartoon that you used to watch or movie or whatever the case may be. And I've almost dabbled in Hot Toys. I'm like on the fence for it. But then it's like, shit, if I do that, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, I might have to get a second job to support my habit.
Yep.
You know, so
have enough of those.
Rabbit hole, man. I'm down a hole, bro. I need one of you guys to fucking throw that ladder, that rope, pull me up. Let's get an arm chain going and get me the fuck out.
Well, I'm jumping in with you, brother.
Yeah, let's start with getting rid of those turtles, though.
Excursion.
Brian, very happy. Oh man, it's crazy, man.
Really. It is holes, I swear.
Well, I like what JD said. You know, it's a reminder of a, you know, simpler time, right? Maybe being a kid. Jose, you kind of talked about, you know, maybe you weren't able to do something when you were younger. You know, for me, I was like, I remember like whatever, right? G.I. Joes, Transformers, He-Man. You look at the back of the card and you see all the different characters. I would have to like think and plan which one of these am I going to ask for my birthday, right? Because I'm only getting one.
Exactly. That's what they always told you. Choose one. That's it.
So I got to make it the right one. Do I want Trapjaw or do I want Beastman? Well, what's the difference? What does it look like? And I was that kid that would like then cut out pictures and be like, this is the one, right? I need this exact one. I need Soundwave. I need whoever it is. But you're right. As an adult, I don't have to worry about that so much, right? I'm like, all right, that looks good.
Gary was making sure mom and dad did not give him the KO shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He's like, he didn't want no fucking GoBots.
That's what he said. He wanted Transformers, no GoBots.
I was that kid that if my parents told me one, I used to like throw a tantrum and cry. I was that one kid that you're like, oh, look at that fucking spoiled brat. Like, I want to. I need that one too.
I want to DDT kids like you. Smash him down. Boom! Shut up, kid. Oh, man.
Something I forgot to mention is like jumping in late. I forget who said about that, Dave or Jose or somebody said you jump in late and you got to play catch up and you got to feel like you want to complete it or whatever. But one of the things that I always kind of thought this whole time was just like, if something comes out and it interests me, I'm gonna get it when it comes out, just because I don't want to have to pay those fucking prices.
That's
later
true.
on.
Yeah. I've learned that with Fig Arts and stuff, with those Tamashi like web exclusives. If you don't get in on those pre-orders, you're going to be paying $30, $40, $50, $60 more than what you should be. So sometimes like you just have to be sure, like if you want it, just bite the bullet. And hopefully if you could sell it later and make your money back, you could always do that.
But are you like making that choice because it's like, well, buy it now and maybe I can make a profit on it, or I don't want to spend more for it later, or is it buy it now and get it cheaper even though I don't like it because I think I'm going to like it later? I think that's a problem that I have sometimes.
I could see your point there. Like, true. Like, I think it would be the second option for me. Like, get it before you have to pay more for it later. Because if I'm going to buy something, then I know I kind of want it. I have that interest. If I
want it or need it.
Need it. But I feel you there. Like, I just feel like for certain items, like you can't wait. You have to kind of get in on that pre-order to avoid paying that higher price later. So you got to kind of do some smart shopping.
So I think it's interesting, right? So one of our other topics several weeks ago, right, I think was is it a lifestyle for us, and how long do we plan on maintaining it? So I think when you look at it that way, you're going to have some big winners. So to your point, Brian, if you get it early, and maybe it does really well, so you decide you don't want it and you come out ahead, and then there's something else, that maybe you waited and you pay a little bit more for. I think in the end, it's almost always a wash, right? You got some that go up and some that go down.
Like a perfect example, this year, Soul Jigoken Voltron.
Oh, I was going to mention that. Yes, you're in my head.
So
I blew it.
I already had King of Beasts, and I love the King of Beasts, right? And this thing drops, and I'm like, that is perfect. It's like I don't necessarily need it, but I know a year from now I'm gonna have that money more in the disposable sense, and I'm gonna wish that I had it. Exactly. So it's like I was like, all right, I'm gonna bite the bullet now, tighten my belt a little bit for a few weeks, and just get it. And I put it on display for a few weeks, and now it's of course boxed up right now. But but I know when I unbox it again, I'm just gonna be like, Brian, that was a smart choice.
Brian, if you send it to me, I will send you the box back, and you can put the box back in the tote. Empty.
Yeah, Brian, that Voltron though is a perfect example. Yeah. Like when it dropped, I was hearing stuff like, buy it now while you can, because it's only going to be a first run only. They're not going to redo it. And $300 is nothing to sneeze at. Yeah. But that's also another character. Growing up watching that cartoon, I was like, I need to have that. When you saw that figure, it's like you need to have it. So I just went in, I got it, and then almost immediately after sold out, and it's going for $400, $450, $500.
You can't find the thing anywhere.
Well, would you guys say that that's kind of that's the definitive Voltron now, though? I mean, that thing looks good. So
absolutely,
imagine no one else is going to do anything better than that. It just looks phenomenal,
Yeah, well, better subjective. You know what I'm saying? Because it does have some issues. Like, you can't. There's other Voltrons out there that are a little bit more posable as far as things that you could do.
Okay, well, I'm talking about just aesthetic look, though.
Yeah, aesthetically, all the accessories that you get,
quality of it
is like, like you're not gonna get anything better than that.
Right.
So
at least not in the next few years.
Isn't there two of those out? Weren't there two versions? Or am I bugging? There was that one, and then there was one that was more expensive.
There is another one.
The Ultimate EX one that's out, which was $400.
Yeah, it's the other one.
It's not as good.
It's not SOG. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so what's interesting though, right? So we'll use the Voltron, and you guys talk about getting late into the game. that can be a catalyst to direct you in other places. So like that Voltron, I've been searching for it, and it's nowhere to be found. And I won't spend the money, right, for the aftermarket price right now, so I'll just have to go without it. Yet I watched the new cartoon on Netflix, and suddenly I find myself looking at the new one as a substitute, right? And does it guide me down that other hole kind of thinking, when deep down I'm like, listen, rather than do that and think I'm getting away cheaper, it's like just get the one that you really want sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, see, and Gary actually plays into one of the topics, like you just mentioned, the new Voltron. Yep. You weren't able to get the SOC, so you're thinking about getting the new one. So I picked up those lines. Like I saw them, you know, I guess they're made by Playmates. Mm-hmm. So it's the retail stuff. You know, it's like, man, I watched that show on Netflix. I like it. I like the style of it. You know, I really enjoyed it. So, of course, it makes you want to buy the figures once they come out. But then getting those figures in hand, I was disappointed. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why, because I know that they were retail stuff. I know not to expect a lot from them. But then just kind of putting them together and having them in hand, and it looks good, but I feel like I just feel disappointed with it. Like, and I'm like, you know what? I'm probably going to get rid of it like the first chance I get. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not something like I feel like I need to keep. But I got it. I experienced it. And it's like, okay. You know?
You got it. But you also got to admit that, like, the first time ever, that figure did hide the legs. Like, the way they hid the legs inside the body was amazing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, you know, I've collected Voltron, and I've gotten, like, the 25th anniversary sets and stuff like that. That was the first time I ever saw the engineering where it actually took the leg and put it inside the lion, which was pretty cool.
No, it definitely has some cool bits to it and stuff like that. But I think it might just be like the fatigue from like getting the Transformer stuff and all the third party and a lot of the higher end stuff that is like sometimes when you do go with the retail, it's just not what you kind of expected from it. I don't know. It's just weird. And it's true. Like I knew
third party spoiler.
You know, I knew not to expect much from it, but then just actually getting it, I was just like, you know, but definitely the leg gimmick, you know, actually folding it in and hiding it. Aesthetically, it is pleasing, but it's just like not what I need.
Yeah, there's all the haters out there. Fuck you, Jose, you third party elitist.
Voltron's always a nice thing to get into because you just need Voltron. That's all. Like you can't. Yeah, exactly. You don't need the drivers. You don't need the bad guys. You just need Voltron. That's all you need. It's an easy. That's an easy thing to collect because it's just Voltron, and that's that one figure can bring you back that nostalgia in a second.
Mm-hmm. See, now if Bandai decides to do a Soul of Chogokin version of that, I'm all in for sure.
Oh, you know? I like the Gypsy Danger that they're doing. Holy cow!
Yeah, that looks
nice. Yep. I think I'm gonna be in for that too. Because I love that movie. So I think I'm in for that line.
I know we were supposed to be talking about this new line of Transformers that's coming out, but we're getting kind of up against the works soon.
Yeah, nah. We'll save that. We'll save that. And thinking about that,
maybe we'll do something special.
Yeah, maybe something. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe sometime this week we'll spring a show on you. Maybe.
Maybe we'll save up for that. Darius, are you a Voltron fan?
Yes, and remember we talked about this. I had to pay a fucking $450.
Oh yeah. So like perfect example. Darius wasn't able to get in early. He had to pay aftermarket prices. Now, even paying that price though, like, what do you think of it?
Phenomenal.
No, don't say that. Stop.
Money well spent. And look at that. And he paid extra. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it always sucks when you have to do that. But you know, again, it's just you got to be able to kind of play that line and kind of have to judge for yourself, like when you have to go in, when you want to make a purchase, or just kind of take that wait and see approach. Like you just can't do it for everything because. You know, as much there's like an abundance of product out there nowadays, and you really don't have to pre-order too much anymore. Not like it was when third party first came out, like you had to buy it or else it's gone. You kind of have the luxury of waiting, but then there's just those certain pieces that do sell out.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I don't know. I had to get my Tarn, dude. I had to be one of the first. I'm sorry.
He sold that. That was an example, Russ.
Exactly.
They ran out of them.
Exactly. That was a piece that sold out quick, and they did a second run pretty quickly, so now it's out there, but the first run did sell out.
Yo, I hit it handing up right away. I said, seriously, put one aside for me. Straight up.
Yeah, I actually got that figure on the second run, and the Cynicus was another one that sold out first run pretty quickly. Everybody was paying over $100 for that fucking tiny little figure, you know, and they re-released it, and I think even that second release sold out. So
yeah, little fucker falls apart when you transform it. But I ain't hating. Love you, MMC. You know, fucking falls apart. But you know, it's all good.
Take my money.
Yeah.
Take my money.
Hey, they took my money. All right.
Hell yeah.
They all take my money. They take all our money.
We're addicts, man. We're addicts. Just what it is.
This is what comes from being a third-party elitist. Jesus, all the Super Hasbro fans are like, yeah, fuck you guys, bitch, you buy you doing this way, that, but you buy third-party, it's shit. Well, sometimes
it's not about that, man. You know, you buy what you buy. You buy what you like. Like I like buying that Hasbro stuff, you know, because it's fun to mess around with. You know, I could take that stuff to work. You know, if I have some time, I fucking transform it back and forth. You know, like throw it in my desk. You know, it's cool. Like I like to have cheap stuff where you know you're not really coming too much out of your pocket, and you can still have fun with it. You know,
these Titans Return, some of these characters, some of these figures they've done are pretty good. I like the ones I have. I love them. They're great. So I had to go. You know, there's a rabbit hole where I was out of, and I went back down it again.
Yeah. And I still tell myself sometimes too. I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't need this stuff anymore. I don't have the space for it. Like, you know, I don't need it. Stick with Masterpiece. Stick with higher end. You know, but then you know you see the new shit coming out, and then it's like, damn, I want that. I kind of want that. I kind of want this.
Sometimes it's just a love of toys.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Play with stuff.
Exactly.
Right. Even my Blur, the smurfiest bot I've ever had. Man. I was like, "You're so cool. You're Smurfy."
That's a quote of the day.
Dude, I was glad I was able to get the Takara version of that because the colors on the Takara version
look so much better. But you know what? They look better. But let's be real. He's Smurfy. I mean, they're not Smurfy like the Hasbro one is. The Hasbro one has character because it looks so damn weird. You know? It's like. It's one of those things like the colors look so horrible on it. You like it. It's like, oh, look, this looks like shit. I like it.
Yeah. And the charm with the resale stuff too is that they incorporate these little gimmicks and stuff like that. Like again, we're older, we're adults. You know, we're a little bit more sophisticated. You know, but this stuff is made for kids, and if you're still able to enjoy it like that, I mean, you got to admit the gimmicks are cool. The Headmaster gimmick, being able to everything interchangeable. There's just a lot of playability that goes with the line, and with the Power to Prime stuff that we got to see a little bit of. We're not going to go deep into the discussion now. We're about to wrap up. But just the Matrix gimmick now, it's the same thing. It looks like you could, you know, you got the Matrix. You could stick those little Prime Masters into the Matrix. You could probably have 12 of them. They're all different designs. You could fit those into the characters. Then it's all interchangeable, you know? So it's just the playability factor. Like if we were still children, I'd fucking be loving to get all this shit, you know?
Oh, yeah, man.
Well, I think it's also, you know, not just the experience of something for retail, but when you don't have to worry about breaking it. Right, I can handle it. I can mess around with it. Right. It's so for me, like little pleasures is those 5-point articulation Star Wars Rebels. You know, from the Rebels cartoon. I love those things. Dom helped me find Grand Admiral Thrawn. I saw the Chosen Prime had the Black Series. You know, San Diego exclusive in stock earlier today on Facebook. And I was tempted to buy it. I'm like, screw that. I'm happy with the little, you know, the real basic one. He stands. He looks good. I enjoy it. I don't need to spend, you know, $75 on another version of the figure just because it's fancier. So I don't know. It's good when you get the enjoyment out of the simple ones.
And even though for like the Star Wars figures with their 5-point articulation, the sculpting is great.
That's true.
I love it.
And for a $8.99, $10 figure,
exactly.
It's you know, the technology has come a long way from when we were kids. So, you know.
Well, I always try to push that point. I mean, I know Power of the Force figures are just a joke nowadays, but dude, those are some if you're like a Star Wars completist, man, those things are fantastic.
Yep.
I mean, they're great. I like those figures, but you know, just my little gripe is there's a lot of people's gripe. It's just how they just beefed up the characters.
Oh yeah.
It's unnecessary. It's so unnecessary. You know.
Yeah, and
He's
Mode Luke.
Luke wants steroids and shit.
Those gyms, man, are pretty hard, you know. So that was my only gripe, and so, but yeah, it was a good line for what it was, you know.
Yep.
So for kids, they didn't care because that's how they most likely saw these characters anyway, you know, as superhero types. So it was the '90s, so. That's how it was in all the '90s, all beefed up, superhero looking, and grandiose. So
yeah. Well, that's
I
what it
went
was.
nuts on that one.
Yeah. It's a sad sight though when you go to toy shows and you just see people with bins of them and they're just all dirty and beat up. And it's like they're just like hoping. It's like they're the guy selling is like his heart skips a beat when somebody sticks their hand in the tin, like, oh my god, he's gonna buy one. Sorry, sir.
Brian, like that guy with the toy trains at the last toy show.
Yeah. I like to stick my hand in that bin.
I love all the innuendo going on tonight. You know, the topic itself of going down the rabbit hole, you know. We love going down.
Oh, let's talk about holes. Oh my God.
I like holes.
Oh, well, you know what, guys? Awesome discussion. I think it's a good time to wrap up. We're about to hit that hour-and-a-half mark. Yo, G Money, thank you, man. Great discussion tonight.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's fun talking about that. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really love it. Love hearing everybody's experiences and stuff. You know, we all have that experience of just kind of, you know, going down a line that we're not used to collecting just out of sheer curiosity or whatever the reason is. You know, and it's just, you know, being able to find that balance between, you know, what you collect mainly and then being able to kind of dip and dab into other things without it hurting your wallet too much.
Absolutely.
The wallet,
Oh,
you know?
can I just add one more thing, which I forgot to add? Another recent things I've been like jumped down the rabbit hole is
No doubt.
is these Acid Rain World figures, you know. And
Those look good. Actually,
yeah.
those
Those do look cool.
great pictures of those things.
Because like I'm a big G.I. Joe guy, and I love 3/4 inch figures. And this guy with the company Aurora Toys, you know, they make these phenomenal weathering mechs, and like this guy here, Laurel, you can put a figure in there, you know. So I've been all in on these guys. It's expensive for some of them, but I think it's worth it. So that's another rabbit hole that I'm just got myself deep in now.
The Hasbro,
nice, man.
The Hasbro kid, checking something else.
Oh, well, thanks for sharing, dude. And trust me, I'm sure, you know, as time goes on, there's going to be lots of other rabbit holes that we're all going to want to get into. You know? It never ends. We want to say we're done, but I don't think we're ever truly done. You know,
Would you say the hole is infinite?
I think so.
There's no end to the hole.
Just like in Get Out, when it's something place. That's how
Hot dog in a hallway.
And ultimately, most of this stuff is built in China, right? So if we all fall down the hole, we'll end up in China, right?
Hey, I like rice.
Oh man. All right. Before we do some outros, just shout out to everybody that was in the chat tonight, guys. Thanks for participating. We had Orgetchi in there, EE Prime, Chat Wingingham, Primacon, Lord Shadowkeeper, what's up, bro? Sunday Heat, Beezy Fresh, Dust Mites, The Rock Father in the house, Rob Milton, Stiggs Reviews, Frogman78, what's up, bro? KJ Smith, Jason L, Anthony Burr, Cabalta, and Just One popped in there. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for participating. We really enjoy it. Thank you guys so much. And with that, let's do some outros. First up, Rustamus.
Hey, what's up, guys? You can find me on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. And now I'm definitely going to be on Instagram a lot more to look at some of his movies. No, awesome. Thanks for having me on, guys. I really enjoyed it. It was good times, man. I love this show. It's good.
Sure. Thanks for being here, brother. Next up, JD.
Thanks for having me again. You can find me on the Facebook pages, JD Brocious, and at Instagram and Xbox Live at Pigment Surgery.
Yo, thanks for spending your birthday with us, brother.
I was gonna say, yeah, man.
Happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday. It ain't like I got anything better to do.
I think I might have a Twinkie here. You want me to sing happy birthday to you?
Yeah, that's all right, dude. I'm all right. I've heard that song enough.
I told you to stop calling your, you know what, a Twinkie, dude.
You named it, motherfucker.
Here we go. Sidetracked again. Anyway.
All right, next up, Agent H.
Well, you guys know where you can find me on Instagram, lurking on Facebook, and that's about it.
Working those conventions.
The Hasbro kids got to be there, brother. You know that.
Thanks for joining us tonight, bro.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me, man, Jose.
Yeah,
no doubt, no doubt. G Money.
Hey, yeah, you find me. I'm on Facebook. Gary Allen on Facebook, and here on Tuesdays. And just kind of a quick reminder that every time you walk away and leave a Legends figure on the peg, Darius sheds a tear. Just a little bit. Just keep that in mind.
Awesome, Gary. It was awesome.
That was beautiful.
Oh, man. Well, thanks for being here, brother, and thanks for the great topics today.
Absolutely. It's always a ton of fun, man. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, next up, Big Dom.
What's going on, guys? You can find me on Facebook at Dominic Rosso, and at Target, Walmart's, and around the tri-state area. And I'm gonna be buying those kitty prides because I know Darius wants that pool in his backyard.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, Energon Addict.
Yo, catch me on Instagram, Energon Addict. If you don't know by now, if you don't know who I am, then you don't watch the show enough. So you need to catch another episode.
Who?
And catch me here on Tuesdays, cursing out Dom as usual.
Dave? Dave who?
Did you forget who he was?
All right, the Analyzer.
What's up, guys? Brian Brink in the Facebook groups at Brinklizer on Instagram. And that's it. I don't have anything else clever to say right now.
Superpowers down.
Brian using those superpowers, I tell you.
Fucking done.
And that's for myself, guys. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all at Harrick and BX, as it says right there below. And you can catch me here hosting the R.O.C. Hangout with these fine gentlemen every single Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, on this very channel, the Realm of Collectors YouTube channel. Before we head out, guys, remember to check out www.realmofcollectors.com. It's your one-spot stop for everything ROC. You could check out our latest merchandise, check out some toy photography photos from the community, and you could subscribe to all the other podcasts within our network. And that network, it's called The Cool Table. Pull up a chair, please. It's a network for like-minded podcasts, including our flagship show, Enter the Realm, Shattercast Uncut, Plastic Fanatics, Toy Detox, Nerd Rage Radio, Figure Banging, Beer and Bolters 40K, 8 Weeks, Stasis Lock, and a whole lot more. You can find The Cool Table on Facebook and pretty much throughout all of social media. So thanks for watching, guys. Great show tonight. We are the ROC. We're not going anywhere, so get to know us. Shout out to Tommy Barricade. Have a good week, everybody. We'll see you next time. Peace
out.
Peace.